And we want to go to a live shot right now from Capitol Hill, where President Biden's about to meet with House Democrats today to discuss the impasse created by the possible infrastructure vote in the House today. He's trying to rescue his agenda. He's up on Capitol Hill. There's your live shot of the streets. Now, there's the president's motorcade. He's just pulled up. He had a bad day yesterday, didn't he, Kira, with this promised deadline that Nancy Pelosi and he and Chuck Schumer had agreed upon, and that just could not get it over the finish line. He's not giving up, obviously. The White House telling us there's still a lot of conversations going on, and here he's going to try and basically come home. There he is. He saw him just step out, come home to the Capitol, where he spent 36 years as a United States Senator. This is not his first rodeo, and he's going in there to see what he can do with members of the House of Representatives of his own party. It's only Democrats in this conversation. Republicans have opted out. See if he can bridge the gap, lead the party, unite the party he leads, and get this crucial part of his agenda. Now we're inside the Capitol there, and you're seeing the president there with his mask on, coming to see what he can do.
You know, yesterday when you were covering the White House, the talk was that he hadn't come forward yet. He hadn't spoken publicly about this. He was getting a lot of heat for that. And, you know, he probably didn't want to talk about just the internal struggle that was going on inside his own doors.
There he is with Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, two veterans of many congressional wars. Looks like he's, that's Steny Hoyer, I guess, and James Clyburn. Man who made him president in some ways by his endorsement, and Hakeem Jeffries, many people tagging him as a potential next Speaker of the House. That's the House Democratic leadership there.
How much of an impact does a visit like this really make? They're throwing out questions actually to the president. Sometimes he stops and talks. Doesn't look like he's going to do it right now. But really, Terry, how much of an impact does this make? You don't see the president coming to the Hill very often. It's quite rare. I mean, how much is this for perception, public perception? How much will this make an impact on negotiations like this?
Well, you're right. Presidents don't do this much, and when they do, they want it to count. And so he's certainly hoping it's going to make an impact. The problem is the party, as we heard earlier, is just bitterly divided right now. The moderates don't want to go to $3.5 trillion on the social spending bill, and the progressives saying that is the lowest they can go. So I think what he's going to do, and this is the tenor that we're hearing from the White House of the conversations that he's having, we're all Democrats, he's going to say. These are things we all agree on. The numbers, let's get there. But this is why you're a Democrat, to lift people up at these kinds of social programs and infrastructure spending that he's proposing. And I wonder,
why do you think there has been such a strong split in that he reached this point where even within his own party, he could not get everybody to agree on where he wanted to go?
It's possible he's talking about a different Democratic Party, the Democratic Party that he spent 36 years in the Senate and as vice president.
It is a different Democratic Party.
It's more progressive. The district says they get gerrymandered by red states to be more red and blue states to be more blue. You know, those become harder core Democrats. And while he needs those two moderate votes in the Senate, Manchin and Sinema, the senators who are, you know, holding out, the House is much more progressive, and they need almost every vote. But I just wonder, this is the question of the Biden presidency in general, is he out of step with these much more divided times?
We still have not heard from Sinema. You brought that up in the White House yesterday to Jen Psaki at the briefing. Manchin did come forward, though. Still wouldn't really pinpoint a number of where he would, but he did come before the cameras and address reporters yesterday.
He did, and Joe Manchin said, all right, you want some details about what I want? I think $1.5 trillion is just about as high as we can go on social spending. Now, what I took from that, though, is he didn't quite close the door on it. Here he is. Let's see if he answers any questions.
Challenging to unite your party, Mr. President.
That's it. You hear the question there.
About the uniting the party.
It's his job. He's the leader of the Democratic Party. The Democrats are in charge of both houses of Congress. This is the Democratic agenda. It's his agenda. It's all on the line. Can he bring them together? What kind of clout does he have? What kind of leverage does he have? What's he going to tell them?
How much is it going to impact his credibility?
Oh, well, if he can't get this, there's a lot at stake, and they know it. I mean, the atmosphere over there was tense. It was a cliffhanger. And as the air went out of the balloon yesterday, and it was clear there was not going to be a successful vote as they had planned for, as they had set the deadline, there was a bit of resignation and anxiety. That said, Joe Biden, they kept telling us, he's been around the block. He's seen a lot of legislative chaos in his life that has turned into major law. And he knows that the process can sometimes be very messy. What we don't know is, as president, not senator, can he use the executive power, his leadership as president, to get senators to do something? This isn't so much horse trading now as it is summoning them to his own agenda, which he wants to be theirs as well. And he's struggling.
How long could this go?
Well, that's a great question.
They burned the midnight oil last night.
Look, it could go along today, but I think one of the reasons they're back at it today after an exhausting week, which really didn't get that far. Jen Psaki, the press secretary, kept saying they made progress. I kept saying, well, define progress here. I'm not really seeing it. It doesn't look like they're lining up around any numbers, any policies. It doesn't look like they're lining up any kind of coalition to get this done. And she said, well, they're talking. I mean, talking is not really progress.
Worst case scenario here.
It depends. Your question, how long can it go? The thing starts losing momentum. That the balloon is just sinking to the ground. Now, here he is. Oh, this is earlier. This is just moments ago where he's greeting the House Democratic leadership.
Clyburn is there.
And the question is, the reason they're seeing him up there, the reason Nancy Pelosi is still pushing, is because they know if this starts slipping, the urgency around it dissipates. And then maybe he has lost it.
Well, Rachel Scott is there. She actually was right there off besides the cameras trying to get a question into the president and also the speaker. Of course, they're not going to say anything at this time. No one wants to steal the show. They want to move forward, get into that room and start talking.
And they want to see take the temperature of the response of the House Democratic Caucus to what the president was doing. As Rachel has been reporting, the House Democrats met this morning after they couldn't come together last night. And they said it was almost kind of like a therapy session. Everybody having out with what they're upset about, but also trying to come together. Look, they see the other side. The other side doesn't believe in anything they do. That's what politics is about. So if they want to get anything that they have in common done, and they are Democrats for a reason, they're going to have to find a way to bridge their differences.
As a country, we don't have time for therapy. We need answers, and we need a decision, and we need to move forward as a country.
But these things can take time. I mean, these are giant, giant bills. What's unusual is that bills of this size have generally been passed by presidents who are riding high in the polls. LBJ with the Great Society was after the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Franklin Roosevelt, just landslide victories. Ronald Reagan with his huge tax cuts and spending cuts in the 1981 came in with a great big presidential victory. Biden's underwater. He is not a strong president right now. How are they going to do that?
He has a snorkel. He's still breathing.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.